right, Januda, certainly a case for much greater debate on all these issues. Let's talk a little about asymmetric warfare and post Kargil. India has not really fought any conventional wars. So, how is this shift from traditional to non-traditional warfare, counterinsurgency? How is it reflected in the Indian Army strategy and doctrine over the last 2 decades? And can you elaborate these shifts with specific reference to four of the officially known doctrines? The 1998 Fundamental Concepts Doctrine, 2004, which was the revised version, and what we popularly come to know as the Cold Start Doctrine in the media, 2017 Joint Doctrine of the Armed Forces, and 2018 Land Warfare Doctrine. So we have these four doctrines, but still limited information in the open domain. So if you could reflect on this.
Okay, so I'll reflect on doctrinal changes that have taken place in the Indian Army, major doctrinal changes that have taken place. Somehow to relate it to specific published doctrines is a little difficult, because actually the publication of doctrines takes place sometimes much later than the doctrine actually having been already adopted within the army. So let me talk about some important phases in the Indian Army's doctrinal thinking. And the first phase was in the mid 80s. And in the mid 80s was a period of large scale military modernization. I think it was the first time that the Indian defense budget was almost 4% of India's GDP. So funds were being infused. There was large scale mechanization. Armored formations were raised. We had at this time three what we call strike corps, 3 strike corps for an offensive into Pakistan. And so our thinking at that time was, we finally have major conventional superiority over Pak military, and therefore we need to utilize this to have deep thrusts into Pakistan, capture high value strategic targets into Pakistan. That was the thinking, backed up by the fact that funds were available, equipment was coming in the mid 80s. Now, this thinking lasted till about the end of the century. And then two things happened at this time. The first thing that happened was both sides, became overtly nuclear. And so the thinking was that now, with this nuclear overhang, is it going to be possible to launch such large offensives into Pakistan to capture strategic targets in Pakistan? Would that cross Pakistan's nuclear red line? And therefore, is this strategy right or wrong? Also, at that time, 2001, we had Operation Parakram, in which both sides mobilized. Complete mobilization took place. We were at the border for almost 1 year. But again, I think among the political leadership, there was doubts whether, with this nuclear weapons on both sides, whether we can actually achieve our objectives and aims by sending large-scale mechanized forces into Pakistan. And so the period after Operation Parakram, 2002, 3, 4 was the time when India started looking at what is unofficially called the Cold Start Doctrine, which was a swift launch of forces within 3 to 4 days going into Pakistan, shallow thrusts, remain below the nuclear red lines and nuclear threshold, but capture some territory which could be later used as a sort of a bargaining counter. This is the second period of thinking about a change from what was called the Sundarji doctrine to the Cold Start doctrine. Now, as far as China was concerned, it was primarily a sort of a defensive strategy, that we will fight a strong defensive battle. We will limit any success that the PLA can have, and the cost imposed on the PLA will be so much that they have to think twice about whether they want to go to war. But it was primarily a defensive strategy. In the last 10 years or so, there has been a change in thinking about this. And the change in thinking is that we need a more offensive strategy even against China. And that's where, the raising of the Mountain Strike Corps, which commenced about, 8-9 years ago, formed a part of this strategy. Some writers have called this, that our initial strategy was deterrence by denial. Now it has changed to deterrence by punishment. That we still have a capability to do something offensive against China, and that it is not purely sort of completely defensive. So this is how, sort of thinking has gone on in the army. Now, of course, we are thinking more about joint war fighting structures, integrated organizations, uh, technology induction into the services. That's what is going to, I think, occupy our doctrinal debate and thinking, I think, over the next maybe a decade or so.